Well, hello, geometry. It is 10 o'clock at night, and I'm just trying to get chapter 2 done. And so I can tackle chapter 3 before I go on vacation. Well, we are proving angle pair relationships. You're going to love this because I will show you where this post-it note is, the old way of doing proofs, and when we get more and more postulates and theorems, we can use those to make some of the proofs a little bit easier. So I can write two-column proofs for pairs of angles, and I can name and prove properties of congruence for special angle pairs. All right, so here we go. Angle 1 is 62. Find the complement and supplement. Okay, so complements, if you recall, complements add up to 90. So 62 plus x equals 90. Subtract 62 on both sides. The complement is going to equal to 28 degrees. That's not too hard. Supplement. If you recall, the supplement adds up to 180. So 62 plus y is equal to 180. And if I subtract 62 on both sides, your y is going to equal 118. Sorry about that. I'm tired. All right. And find the values for x. Now, if you recall, these two are called vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. So I'm going to start with 74 is equal to 2x. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 37. Okay, so 37 times 2, 74. And then I also know that this is a supplementary, it makes a straight line. So 74 plus y is equal to 180. Subtract 74 on both sides. This pen clicks, it's driving me crazy. It's equal to 106. So far, so good? All right. Right angle congruence theorem. All right angles are congruent. Well, duh. Okay. So we're going to start off. I'm going to call this angle 1, call that angle 2. They're right angles. They have a little box there. And I know that right angles are 90 degrees. So I have a lot of extra written stuff in here, but it'll get us there. All right, so let's prove this. Measure of angle 1 and measure of angle 2 are right angles. Well, that's your given. Measure of angle 1 is equal to 90 degrees. Measure of angle 2 equals 90 degrees. We get that from the definition of right angles. Okay, well, if measure of angle 1 is equal to 90, and measure of 2 is equal to 90, then measure of angle 1 is equal to measure of angle 2. That's transitive. And if the measures are equal, then their angles are congruent. So, definition of congruent angles. And I know a lot of students hate this step right there because they're like, it's obvious. I'm like, well, they want that, okay? So, page 1 is done. Let's move to page 2. All right. Given. AB is perpendicular to BC. So here's AB, perpendicular to BC. We have a little box there. And then AD is perpendicular to DC. We have a little box there. We want to prove that these two angles are congruent. All right, so first statement's given. I'm going to write all that out. AB is perpendicular to BC. Oh, the little upside down T is your perpendicular symbol. AD is perpendicular to DC. That's given. Okay? Now, when these are perpendicular, it forms a right angle. So angle B and angle D are right angles. That's the definition of perpendicular lines. And if you have two right angles, then they are congruent. All right angles are congruent. I know it's ridiculous. I even abbreviated R. All right, moving on. Congruent supplements and congruent complements. Okay, so remember, supplementary angles up to 180, complements up to 90. That's why I had it in the warm-up. Okay, so if two angles are supplementary to the same angle, or congruent angles, then they are congruent. So look at this. These two are supplementary. If you add them together, they'll equal 180. Then these two are supplementary. Add them together, they'll equal 180. Well, since they both have this angle, these two will be congruent. So remember what proofs would do. Proofs would say angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to angle 2 plus angle 3. Subtract the angle 2 on both of them, so then these two are equal. But now we just have a theorem that tells us that, so it's kind of nice. So let's see. Now let's look at the complements. If two angles are complementary to the same angle or congruent angles, then they are congruent. So angle 4 and angle 5, that would form a right angle, are complementary. Angle 6 and angle 5, if I push those together, they're also a right angle. Then 4 and 6 are congruent. Okay, so there's the little information. Now let's work it out. Now this is where I have that post-it note, because I'm going to tell you what we would have had to have done before. But if you notice, this proof only has 2 little spots. It's kind of nice. So here you go. Angle 1 and angle 2, angle 1 and angle 3 are complements. So these two right here, I'm going to put dots there just so I can get my attention to. And then also angle 3 and angle 5 are complements. Okay, so these two are complements, they add up to 90. These two are complements, they add up to 90. Okay, so the given statement, I'm going to put all of that in there. Okay, here we go. Angle 1 and angle 3 are complements. Angle 3 and angle 5 are complements. I should abbreviate a little bit better. All right. Now, we just learned that if these two are complements and these two are complements, then these two are congruent, given that definition. So, congruent complement theorem. I'll be abbreviating theorem in the future also. All right, so that was nice and simple. What we would have had to have done before, and that's what I'm going to take this post-it note off. Before we'd say, all right, measure of angle 1 and measure of angle 3 equal 90. Measure 3 and measure of angle 5 equal 90. Well, if they're both equal to 90, then I can set them equal to each other. Measure of angle 1 plus 3 equals the measure of angle 3 plus 5. Subtract the measure of angle 3 on each side. You get the measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle 5. And if the measures are the same, then the angles are congruent. So we would have to go through all those steps before. Now with this theorem, voila, just 2. Okay, postulate a linear pair. If 2 angles are linear pairs, then they are supplementary. Okay, so pretty much you're going to, in the future, put all that together. So linear pair, they make a straight line, it equals 180. So angle 1 and angle 2 form a linear pair, so angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. They equal 180. It's all one thing here. So, next one. Vertical angles are congruent. So this angle is congruent to angle 3. This angle is congruent to angle 4. So those are some theorems. Oops, sorry. Okay. Last page. Hopefully we can be happy I decided not to put this extra proof on there. But I'll just stop it at this one. Okay, so here we go. Example 3. I've got a nice cool drawing here. 2 is congruent to 3, so I'll put a little arc here. And we want to prove that 3 is congruent to 6. Alright, here we go. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 3, that's given. And then look at this. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. Let's see here, I'll use colors. If you see that this line forms an X with this line, these are vertical angles. So, all right, vertical angles are congruent. Well, vertical angles are congruent by using transitive. 2 is congruent to 3, 2 is congruent to 6, 3 is congruent to 6. Pretty awesome, isn't it? Okay, well, again, this homework assignment is in 2 different days. There's a reason. Everybody have a nice evening, and we are done with Chapter 2.